Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of DogCatFox and Friend. He's DogCatFox.
Wowie wow wow.
And I'm the friend. Welcome to Saturday. Hope everybody's doing well on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. DogCatFox. But yes, welcome to the wonderful world of DogCatFox and Friend, our weekly digest of interesting stories, or stories at least I found interesting, or we found interesting.
Wowie wow wow.
Yeah, okay. Now you go off to go hunt some moonites or something. Okay, yeah, you go over there. Okay. Hi everybody. How's it going? Welcome to the wonderful world of DogCatFox and Friend. Who's joining me on this beautiful, rainy, gray, dour, oversaturated Saturday? The Alexandier. Good afternoon. Random American, hello. Advocatus Diaboli, hello. Shady Grin, hello. Blue-Eyed Scream, good afternoon. Tack Alpaca, hello. Plague Trucker Zach, hello. Jen T. Maxey from the Great White North, good afternoon. Kiever Dam, good afternoon. And thank you, Kiever Dam, as always, for providing the link to the Leukemia Lymphoma donation page, guys. Leukemia Lymphoma donation page. Leukemia and Lymphoma Society donation page. Guys, that's pinned to the top of the chat box. Please take a look at that when you have the opportunity. If you can donate, please do so. But even if you can't, if you can share that out on social media, that would be appreciated. So thank you ahead of time for that. And thank you, Kiever Dam, as always, for providing the link. Kiro Soldier, good afternoon. Resolute Germ, hello. Cephtus Wolf, hello. Spoonie the Rebel, good to see you. Mike Savage, Blarg. Found, has been found. Senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. Every day is a yay with Colleen Bernier. Amanda Wolfchild, good afternoon. Who else is here? Anybody else? Rotten Corpse, hello. And let's see, Whiskey Theorizes. There's a name I haven't said in a while. How you doing? Long time no see or read, I suppose. Hope you're doing well. Ryan R., good afternoon. Anybody else? I think that's everybody. If I missed you, if you're lurking, if you're in the future, hello. Darkness, my old friend. Let's start off with some breaking news. Or breaking-ish news, I guess. There's been an explosion at Harvard University. An intentional explosion. Now, I will confess that I read this whole article before the show, so I have a little familiarity with it. But let's find out. Officials investigate intentional explosion at Harvard University Medical Building that left no injuries. So, that's good. Nobody was hurt. An apparently intentional explosion at a Harvard University medical building early Saturday is under investigation, authorities said. An officer responded to the Goldenson building around 2:48 a.m. and saw two people fleeing the building after a fire alarm was activated, according to the Harvard University Police Department. And photos of the suspects have now been released. I've retweeted them out on my Twitter machine if you want to take a look at that. On the building's fourth floor, it was apparent there had been an explosion, one that an arson team had initially assessed, quote, appeared to be intentional, police said. I think it's been more than a little confirmed now because they had masked individuals roaming around the building. Boston police swept the building for any additional devices, but none were found and no injuries were reported. The officer who first responded, quote, attempted to stop the individuals, unquote, before going upstairs to investigate what triggered the alarm. There was no further information on any suspects, the nature of the explosion, or the damage that may have resulted. Now here's the part where the article just kind of... The unsettling incident comes after a tense year for Harvard students, teachers and staff who were thrust into a national spotlight amid the White House's push to reshape higher education. Yes, that's what the Trump administration was doing, and that is completely germane to this attack? Is it? Is the bombing a result of that? What? Officials from Harvard and the White House have been in discussions for months about a high-dollar deal to restore all federal funding to the university and end its ongoing lawsuits against the administration. Yeah, why? Why has that been happening? DEI stuff, affirmative action stuff, illegal stuff, Title VI stuff. What has that got to do with an explosion? I don't know, but it's Harvard, so we have to bring up the Trump administration, I guess. The FBI, this entire paragraph should be excised from the article. It is entirely and absolutely irrelevant. But it's a CNN article, so Trump. The FBI is on scene investigating Saturday's explosion and assisting university police. FBI Boston Division spokesperson Kirsten Cetera told CNN. It's not any relation to Peter Cetera? Oh, I think it's spelled with a C. Anyway, quote, the Harvard University Police Department is actively investigating this incident in coordination with local, state, and federal law enforcement partners, University Police said. CNN has reached out to the Boston Police and fire departments for additional information. And this is a developing story, so there might be something new that's happened in the last hour that I'm not aware of. But there you go. Yeah, so Trump and Harvard are in lawsuits together. Explosion. Connection? CNN seems to think so. So there you go. Plague truck attack. I was just talking with Alamo. The basement of the Alamo? How a little of this story I've seen today, it's not like it's a big deal. I mean, thankfully no one was hurt, but an intentional, I'll just say for the lack of better information, an intentional bombing of an educational institution is something that probably should be getting more press. Maybe it will. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Let's see. TDS at its finest. I was reading the article before the show, and my brain just stopped once I hit that paragraph, and I was like, why? Why are we... You know, this bombing at this university is not unlike the tension brought about by the Trump administration. Really? Okay, so this is a developing, ongoing story. But pictures of the suspects have been released. I don't know that I have them at hand, but you can find them on either my Twitter feed or over on the Lookner Twitter feed where I got them from in the first place. Yeah, it looks like a couple of masked individuals. So just either go to my Twitter account or look up at Lookner, Lookner, and you can see them for yourself. If you have any information about the suspects in this case, please contact the Boston Police Department. That's my community service note for the day. Let's see. Real Wade Nation gaming clips. Question for Scribe. Exclamation point Scribe, like I'm on IRC or something. Would you get Back to the Future IMAX popcorn bucket? You know, I saw that. Professor R2 is apparently attending that. And the popcorn bucket is more like a popcorn drawer? I mean, if I had access to one and it didn't cost too much, sure, why not? Why not? 1.21 Jiffy Pops. Sure. Let's see. Adam Nixon. Good afternoon. And you got it. Hey, got it is my catchphrase. How dare you? Anyway, let's get on to the main event, guys. I have a inadvertent crime episode for you today. Lots of crimes. First, we have a prison break. The search is on for 3 escaped monkeys after truck overturns on Mississippi Highway. 3 monkeys remained on the loose Wednesday as searchers in masks, face shields, and other protective gear scoured fields along a rural Mississippi highway where a truck carrying the primates overturned a day earlier. Why are they in protective gear? They're just monkeys. As many people have said, I've seen this movie before. It remained unclear who owns the monkeys, who was transporting them, and where they were being taken when the truck crashed on Interstate 59 north of Heidelberg. Authorities have said most of the 21 monkeys were killed, but haven't elaborated on just what occurred. Sounds like a secret government project to me. We don't know where they came from. We don't know where they're going. We have no other information, but 3 are loose, and we have protective gear people wandering around trying to capture them. The Jasper County Sheriff's Department has said animal experts from Tulane University examined the trailer Tuesday evening and determined 3 monkeys had escaped. The trunk was carrying rhesus monkeys, peanut butter cups, which typically weigh about 16 pounds and are among the most medically studied animals on the planet. Video recorded after the crash showed monkeys crawling through tall grass beside the interstate where wooden crates labeled live animals were crumpled and strewn about. The truck was no longer at the scene Wednesday, but the searchers in gear including white coats, gloves, and hairnets were checking fields, aided by law enforcement officers. Jasper County Sheriff Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson, that sounds like the most generic, like, southern name you could think of, said Tulane officials reported the monkeys were not infectious. Do I believe you? Despite initial reports by the truck's occupants warning that the monkeys were dangerous and harboring various diseases. Okay, so the people actually involved in transporting the animals say, they're diseased. And the Sheriff's County says, nah. Okay. Nonetheless, Johnson said the monkeys still needed to be neutralized because of their aggressive nature. This all smells like a cluster, as might be said. And also maybe a bit of a cover-up. I'm just saying, could be an X-Files episode. The monkeys were being housed at the Tulane University National Biomedical Research Center. Why? I mean, they're not infectious. They don't carry any diseases. Why would they be housed at the National Biomedical Research Center? The 21 monkeys had recently received checkups confirming they were pathogen-free, Tulane said in a statement Wednesday. I thought we didn't know where they were coming from or where they were going. All these assurances. The university said it wasn't transporting the monkeys and didn't own them, but sent a team of animal experts to help with their care. Wait. Tulane University assures us everything's fine. They're not our monkeys. We weren't transporting them. We don't own them. We're completely detached from the situation. But we promise everything's fine. All the monkeys were being transported back to Louisiana. About 10 years ago, 3 rhesus macaques in the breeding colony of what was then known as the Tulane National Primate Research Center were euthanized after a biosecurity breach. The breach involved at least one staff member failing to adhere to biosafety and infection control procedures. So when Tulane University says, no, all the animals are perfectly fine, they have a track record of excellence, everybody. The facility made changes in its procedures and retained staff after that happened, according to the report from the U.S. Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service. Retained staff? So even though there was a massive failure in security and biocontrol, nobody needs to lose their job. Earlier this year, Tulane made a slight change to the name of the facility, replacing primate with the word biomedical. They're expanding. Not only primates, now dogs, insects, amoeba, I don't know. The Mississippi Highway Patrol said Wednesday that it was investigating the cause of the crash, which occurred about 100 miles from the state capital, Jackson. Dr. James Watson, any relation? Mississippi State veterinarian verified that the animals had the proper documents and, quote, certificate of veterinary inspection for legal transport across state lines, even though we don't know who is transporting them or why, but we know they were certified. If anyone sees the monkeys, they should call the authorities and shouldn't approach the animals. Let's see. The search comes about 1 year after 43 rhesus macaques escaped from a South Carolina compound that breeds them for medical research because an employee didn't fully lock an enclosure. Boy, I tell you what, there sure is a lot of biomedical monkey business going on. Anyway, they're going to make a worse COVID. They've already made it. It just hasn't escaped the lab yet. Give it time. Give it time. Frosted glass skylight. One of the monkeys was found with 2 Norse guys shooting at it from a helicopter. It's probably nothing. Yeah. It's fine. Everything's fine. We don't know whose they were. We don't know where they were going. We don't know who's transporting them. But we assure you, everything's fine. Never mind our previous record on, monkey security. No, it's fine. Raccoonius the Great, I thought you had a cohort as a co-host today. Well, I mean, he is always with me. So, I guess the answer is yes.
Wowie wow wow.
I'll try to keep him in frame. I'll see if I can do all this magic one-handed. Moving on. Let's move on. That's not the only escaped monkey story. It's a practical epidemic of escaped monkey stories. Caught on camera, escaped monkey causes chaos at Spirit Halloween store. If there was anything scarier at a Spirit Halloween store outside of their prices, also monkey. Plano, Texas. A monkey in a diaper caused a stir at a Spirit Halloween store in Plano, Texas after escaping from its owner. Police reported that the monkey was frightened by an animatronic decoration, leading it to climb and swing from the rafters and the shelves. The primate's owner eventually managed to recapture it using a cookie. Officers advised the owner to use a leash in the future. Fortunately, no one was injured and no decorations were damaged. That's the important part. If you escaped into a Spirit Halloween store, would I be able to placate you with a cookie?
Wowie wow wow.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're high maintenance as it is. So. Yeah, so that was it. That was the story. Spirit Halloween monkey recaptured with cookie. So there you go. Kiro Soldier, I've seen this. You've seen Spirit Halloween diaper monkey? Okay. I mean, if you say so. Colleen Bernay, so ranting monkey's relatives are on the loose again. I mean, I hope it wasn't one of his granddaughters. Although I could believe it. I would also believe that one of the monkey clan would be placated with a cookie. So, possible. Also, but I mean, Plano, Texas is a bit far away from where monkey lives. I think that's not an unknown fact, but I won't dox him here. I'm polite. Let's see. Plague Trucker Zach. Fun fact, the people in that area claim the woman that owns the monkey is an attention seeker who brings it with her everywhere, and this happens all the time. Oh. So she's kind of a Munchausen by proxy sufferer?
Wowie wow wow.
Shush. Anyway. There you go. Monkey escape. But that's not the end of our criminal investigations today, everybody. Oh no. We're moving on from the perils of a Spirit Halloween store and diaper monkey to thieves busted for stealing over 1,000 restaurant chairs in Spain. Yeah. Because, crime of the century. I mean, it depends on the restaurant. They could be really good chairs. Spanish police have busted a criminal group dedicated to stealing your seat. Literally. Spain's national police said Wednesday that they had arrested 7 people suspected of stealing more than 1,100 chairs from outdoor seating areas at restaurants and bars in Madrid and another nearby municipality in just 2 months. The group of 6 men and a woman worked at night to pilfer the chairs from 18 different establishments in Madrid and Talavera de la Reina, a smaller city to the southwest of the capital, in August and September. The estimated impact of the stolen property was around 60,000 euros, or $69,000, according to police. The suspects, who face charges of theft and belonging to a criminal organization. I can get charged with just belonging to a criminal organization? Guilt by association? Okay. Resold the chairs in Spain, but also Morocco and Romania. I had no idea that there was a black market international chair racket going on. Will wonders never cease? In Spain, many restaurants and bars leave tables and chairs, which are usually made of metal or hard plastic, outdoors during the night. The chairs will normally be kept in stacks and chained down. But now I guess they just got some bolt cutters and took them off. I wonder how much they got for these chairs, that it was worth this much trouble. 1,100 shares at what, like €2 a pop or something? I mean, those, recipients weren't paying full price. So I don't know. But yes, a great chair robbery. Will wonders never cease. Let's see. LOL, I blame Frosted for telling Monkey to go to Spirit Halloween. Oh. Well, I mean, admittedly, that is where I got my Dracula costume. I did get my costume at a Spirit Halloween. So, I'm not innocent of patronizing the pop-up Halloween stores. Advocast Diabli, be more impressed if they stole them during the day while people were sitting in them. That would be something. Chairjacking. Doesn't sound right. None of it sounds right. Play Turkazak. And people wonder why toothpaste is locked up. A philosophy of softness on crime, I think, is mainly why toothpaste is locked up. But that's a whole other story. But speaking of the lowering of standards, sure, that's a segue. Kind of. How about a subject that I haven't really touched upon in quite a while, and that's education and equity. Educational research, obsessed with equity, heedless of classroom teachers' concerns. Do you mean to tell me that years and years and years of focusing on quality of outcome and identity politics and social justice nonsense and DEI has been detrimental to the educational system?
Wowie wow wow.
Oh, that was an audio. Let's try that again. Do that. Okay.
Wowie wow wow.
There you go. That's better. Okay. But let's find out. Most people assume that educational research is designed to help teachers in schools. No, I'm not one of those. I have watched, listened to, and paid attention to educational stuff for quite a while now. That's not so. After all, billions of taxpayer dollars flow to universities and think tanks with the expectation that the work they do will improve education. No. But much of today's research doesn't reflect what teachers say they need. If educational research continues down a path disconnected from classroom realities, we risk not only alienating educators, but also giving ammunition to policymakers who are already skeptical of the value of federally funded research. Well, whose fault is that? If educational research continues down a path, it's too late. It's too late. I mean, how long now have I had the studies thrown at me of, did you know that all students benefit if they have just one teacher of color in their curriculum? This study says so. Look at the trends. By the way, there are too many white female teachers in our education system. Look at the statistics. Oh my gosh, Derek LaRue. Thank you so much, Derek. As always, for your support and generosity. Very much appreciated. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you enjoyed the show. What do you think of that, DogCatFox?
Wowie wow wow.
That's right. Wowie wow wow. Thank you, Derek. Let's see. And this is the author talking, I recently conducted a study, so you did an educational study, with colleagues to better understand the alignment between education research and the needs of practicing teachers. As former classroom teachers ourselves, I'll take your word for it, we were interested to learn the extent to which research featured at prominent academic conferences mirrored the needs of those working in schools. I'm going to guess that at least 30% of the time, most of the information in academic circles when it comes to research focuses on equity or race or social justice stuff or, some other kind of critical race theory nonsense. We analyzed themes of more than 25,000 presentations at the American Educational Research Association's annual meetings. Okay. The premier gathering of educational researchers between 2021 and 2025. We then surveyed over 260 teachers from across the United States, asking them what issues they most wanted to see researchers address. The contrast was stark. Tony Stark. At the annual meetings, the dominant themes were equity, social justice, and identity. Surprise, surprise. These topics appeared at twice the frequency of any other research area. I lowballed it. I thought it was going to be maybe a third. Other prominent themes included critical race theory, methodological innovations, often involving critical theory, and teacher preparation, often with more of a focus on teacher identity than practice. In contrast, classroom teachers' top concerns were far more immediate and practical. They included student behavior and discipline, mental health and well-being, parental involvement, and teacher retention. The only area of overlap between researchers and teachers was artificial intelligence, which ranked as a top priority for both groups. In other words, the nation's largest academic research conference has devoted the majority of its attention to questions of identity and justice, whereas teachers in the classrooms are struggling with how to get students to sit down, focus, and learn. Can you believe it? I can. I have a whole playlist on my channel called Curriculum of Fear that's been chronicling bits and pieces of this for the last 9 years. This does not surprise me in the least. It's also one of those things where it's like, you don't say. But here we are. This disconnect has consequences. Teachers often tell us that research feels irrelevant to their daily practice, if you can believe it. And when policymakers see that the research community is not engaged with the problems educators say matter most, it fuels calls to cut funding for research altogether. Yes, identitarianism, equity, research, social justice, critical race theory, it is poison. Yeah, it's not only poison as far as waste of money, it's also poison in, as they say. It's like if you keep pumping out all these useless reports and focusing on things that don't matter, or trying to play up things that we shouldn't be focusing on in the first place because of, federal laws, then you end up throwing the baby out with the bathwater by saying, let's not spend money on any of this anymore, because it has all been poisoned. And the only way that you solve it is by finding the people that are pushing this stuff and excising them from the industry. Because if they're making money at this, they are dyed-in-the-wool believers, and it's just going to come back. And this is why when I was on Midnight's Edge the other day, we were talking about studios and everything again, and how maybe they're learning their lessons, and until you see regime change at some of these studios, you're not going to have any. There shouldn't be any faith they're going to change their ways. They'll probably just make it more under the radar. If they can get away with it, they can, and they will. Back to the author. I am not suggesting that issues such as race and gender are unimportant. Well, I'm suggesting they are. I'll be the first one to suggest they are. They are unimportant. I mean, unless you're doing something in an educational context that has to do with anthropology or biology or something, they are otherwise irrelevant. But okay. Depending on the context, they may matter deeply. Well, yes, depending on the context. But we're not talking about where they may matter reasonably here. We're talking about where they are injected everywhere they don't need to be. Scholars should have the freedom to pursue the questions they find most pressing. Again, depending on context, yes. But if you have an activist nut job in the classroom, if they decide to make the question of how do we value people based on race, then maybe not. Indeed, I, as in the author, have conducted research on racially integrated charter schools in a highly segregated region of the United States South. Okay, again, it all comes down to context, yes. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about potentially reasonable or useful instances where race or gender are part of a question or a research study or something. But if our field's public face is consumed with topics that teachers themselves rarely cite as top concerns, then we have a problem. Teachers need help with challenges that are eroding morale, driving people from the profession, and directly affecting student learning. Gosh, what could be driving people from the profession? Is it a overt vilification of people and their usefulness on the basis of their race or their gender? It is, isn't it? Yeah. Consider student behavior. Do I have to? Since the pandemic, many schools report sharp increases in classroom disruptions. Teachers describe spending more time managing discipline and less time on instruction. Yet in our analysis of the research conferences, student behavior barely registered as a theme. Well, because you can't tell children what to do. You have to let them be free. You have to let them be free to determine their own fate because they are smarter than the rest of us. Have you not been paying attention for the last several years when it comes to, say, gender ideology? A second grader has a better grasp on their personal internal gender orientation / whatever development than the adults around them. Listen and believe. The few discussions tackling this issue took the form of restorative justice approaches, which often place an even greater burden on teachers. Boy, this article is just the greatest hits of my entire channel, isn't it? Similarly, although teacher and student mental health was a top priority for educators, it was not a central focus of the conference programs at all. Word searches of the 2025 conference program found more than 300 presentations on resistance, and I can only guess as to who they are resisting, and almost 100 on safe spaces. There were only 41 on student mental health and 24 on teacher mental health. You know, I do find that kind of surprising because at this late date, I would have thought the popularity, let's say, or the frequency of terms like safe spaces would have been on a drop-off quite a bit. But no, apparently not. Educational research is too important to let it drift further out of touch. It's not important, apparently, because nobody's been refereeing this stuff for all these years. But okay, I'm getting my TEDx talk mentality going on here. What do you suggest be done to solve this? How do you solve for this problem? If the researchers are focused on irrelevant things, stupid things, how do you filter that out? What we need now is not less research, but a better alignment between researchers and schools. That starts with listening. Too often, research agendas are set in academic silos, guided by theoretical trends or what is most likely to be published in top journals, almost all of which privilege the topics we found to be most prevalent at the conferences. Teachers rarely have a seat at the table. So stop paying for irrelevant research. I'll tell you what, if the money stops, all the nonsense will stop. If you only fund research that involves teachers directly when it comes to this stuff, then maybe it'll change. Building stronger partnerships between universities and schools, creating research practitioner partnerships that begin with the problems identified by teachers and school leaders, and rewarding scholars who produce work that has real classroom application would go a long way toward closing the gap. Okay, who holds the purse strings on this stuff? Who is paying for the research? Send that message to them. Because like I say, if you cut off the money, this nonsense will fall off real quick. Probably. Right? Yeah, okay. Anyway, average Joe, high school students who read on a second grade level because they didn't learn phonics. Yeah. They focused more on, let's talk about your skin color. Let's talk about identity. Let's talk about social politics. Tell me what you think about the Trump administration. That kind of thing. Raccoonius, restorative justice sounds a lot like legislated chaotic anarchy. Oh, Raccoonius. Well, I have done extensive examinations of restorative justice over the years. Oh man, it's worse than you think. Or maybe not. I don't know. Blue-eyed Scream, how do we make teachers care about identity? That's the flip side of it. Yeah, if it's like, oh, well, we'll only fund research where teachers are directly involved with their concerns. Well, now we have to find teachers who are obsessed with identity. And they exist. I've done more than a few TEDx talks about that. So, how dare you threaten the money tap scribe? I know. It's crazy. But our author didn't really offer any other solutions. But yeah, no, find out who controls the purse strings on the research grants and either petition them to stop or find out where they get their money from. It's all about the money. Show me the money. Speaking of money, and on a completely different subject, I saw this and I thought to myself, well, given that my work schedule doesn't really allow me to attend Midnight's Edge in the morning anymore, maybe occasionally I should have an entertainment story as part of my deal. So, why not? Variety. Okay, and here's what happened. I haven't read this yet, but there was a word in the headline, I wonder if you can spot it, that made my radar go off a little bit. How Gen Z leaders behind UTA's ZCon are capitalizing on authenticity. We're asking well-seasoned executives to do pretty crazy things. Oh, Gen Z, lead me to a new nirvana or Shangri-La, a lost horizon. The bubbles have settled after UTA's ZCon event. ZCon. It sounds like a vodka wine cooler. ZCon. You know, when Zimas simply won't do. ZCon event and new Gen Z taught lessons have hopefully been learned by old guard executives looking to team with the next wave of movers and shakers in media. And plans have already started for ZCon 26 and more. Quote, this doesn't only have to live at ZCon. This idea that we need to be intersectionally platforming creative voices and connecting brands to culture can exist everywhere and ought to exist everywhere, said Ziad Ahmed, head of UTA Next Gen, told Variety as the two-day event, which ran October 22nd to 23rd at the Preserve in Hollywood, concluded, quote, and that UTA can really be this supercharged engine to accelerate that transformation in the marketplace is something that we're really excited about, and why we chose to call UTA home. I think it says so much about UTA as a company that they've not only let us, but actively really encouraged us and helped us continue to build ZCon in the same vision of what it has always been. And so we're just as excited to carry forward that energy. Yeah, okay. Pardon me. Quote, this doesn't only have to live at ZCon. This idea that, oh wait, I already read that. Why is it jumping around? Jump around. Okay. As to how other generations are responding to the event, other generations, Ahmed notes, okay, so you're talking to one guy for the entire, okay, quote, my boss just called me, UTA New York chief Mr. Julian Jacobs, and was like, this was everything and more, and I want to never stop doing this. And folks of all generations and titles and backgrounds have given us that encouragement, he says. Quote, I think it's less about, for me, this one moment that's 2 days in October, and more about, what is this movement? That's my question. What are we even talking about? And what is this energy? And how do we scale it? Because I think we all need it right now. JUV Consulting, the company behind ZCon and more Gen Z-centered events and projects, was acquired by UTA's marketing division a year and a half ago as part of the Hollywood Talent Agency's efforts to focus more on the Gen Z audience in its entertainment and marketing partnerships. In what way? What exactly is this doing? This year, ZCon teamed up with brands including Cosmopolitan and Coach, among others, as it hosted sessions and panels exploring how Hollywood is evolving, Gen Z's relationship with beauty, health, and wellness, digital identity, and cultural and social impact. Participating talent, that remains to be seen, included Adam Faze, Hannah Broadhurst, Lily Caravallo, Chandler Kinney, Josie Tota, Michael Cimino? Isn't that, wait. Was that the director of Heaven's Gate? Ezra Fretch. I'm having a hard time believing these are real names. I'm sorry. Ezra Fretch, Chandler Kinney, Josie Tota, Claire Almond, Austin McGuire, Olandria, one name, Olandria, Anthony Poe, Umar Issa, Cami Tellez, Ramisha Sattar, Nia Sue, Zaya Parisian, Cheyenne Hunt, Andrew Chang, Ella Emhoff, and Josh Colley. The only name in there I recognized, and I'm not even sure it's the same person, or necessarily the same spelling, it's just Michael Cimino. Who are these people? I've never heard of any of these people. Admittedly, I'm not Gen Z, so I never talked to anybody in Gen Z, so I don't know. Quote, I think there's so many different platforms and stages that are trying to accomplish this. What is this? I'm turning into a rock song. What is it? To accomplish this in a lot of ways and having similar conversations that we're having at ZCon, Olivia Frary, executive at UTA Next Gen said, but the feedback that we always get is that this just feels so authentic. What? What feels so? What are you talking about? That this just feels so authentic and that this is truly a place where everyone is showing up as their true self and no one is afraid to dance or belt their heart out or make a new friend and say hi to someone, give someone a compliment, hula hoop. We're asking people to do pretty crazy things when they're well-seasoned executives and folks with amazing careers who usually are in offices and on emails. Like what? Hula hooping? Breaking out into song? Ahmed added, quote, and they really lean in and they do it with us. Do what? Frary says the organizers behind ZCon looks to, quote, lead by example and create a space that folks feel comfortable and safe doing that in. What? What are you doing? What is the... Quote, what we constantly are hearing and what we want to be able to accomplish is to create more spaces that feel that way and give people of all walks of life and all generations more permission to be their true self and have these types of experiences, but also come away feeling the way that people feel when they walk out of ZCon, she said. You know, I would have thought that ZCon was like a ZombieCon or something. Or a convention for fans of World War Z. What did I just read? What is this even about? We want to create spaces where everybody can be themselves. To what end? Or I should ask, how is this going to improve the entertainment industry? How is this going to connect production companies or entertainment or media companies with Gen Z? In what way? I mean, I know, I'm asking for an active example. It's a terrible thing. I have a bad habit of doing that. But be aware, everybody. ZCon coming to a West Coast Bay Area city near you to do something like hula hoop. And here it is, Sonali Ori and Nick Dybel. Maybe that's just the people that took the photograph. But man, those names. Yeah, it's just the photographers. Okay. So is this what Zcon is? It's hula hooping and playing in bubbles. Is that what's going to connect media companies to Gen Z? Is acting like toddlers? I think I might have just cracked the code. I think I did. Anyway. Average Joe. No, we do not want to read more articles like this one. Yeah, I know. It's like, hey, now that you just read this great article, you want to read some more? Yeah, I know. Doesn't Z stand for the Russian army? Zcon, товарищ. Хочешь яблочный пирожок, гражданин? Да. Faithless. ToddlerCon. There you go. Well, actually, no. That's not going to what would be good? Like man-child con? No, that doesn't sound right. No. Failure to launch con? I don't know. Oh God, Zcon. Or it sounds like a pharmaceutical, maybe. Like, take your Zcon. Let's see. Everybody likes bubbles. Well, okay. I'm not talking about like, just casual bubble use. But I mean, when you're using it as like some kind of, hey, look, we can create a space where we can play with bubbles and hula hoop, and we all feel it. Safe spaces. We need some more safe spaces. I didn't know DogCatFox could speak Russian. Well, DogCatFox can speak any language because he speaks the universal language, don't you?
Wowie wow wow.
Yeah, see? I mean, that could mean anything depending on context. So it's a universal language. Let's see. Don't assume their gender. Well, why not? Let's see. Zcon virus. Yeah, Zcon doesn't... It doesn't sound friendly to me. It sounds something that you try to avoid. Which I guess is kind of appropriate. But anyway. Kiro Soldier, ever thought about getting a green screen and having a moon-based backdrop? How professional a setup do you think this is? I'm not a streamer. And, I'm not really on the moon. So as you know. But I do have a genetically engineered DogCatFox. So. I mean, the thought had occurred to do something like that, but it just seems like more trouble than it's worth to keep with the facade. I mean, I only just turned on my camera, and I've already got like a stuffed animal prop or a pet. So I have to, it's incremental movements into becoming a more professional streamer. Soon I have to have like, animated somethings up here at the top dancing around, and I got to remember to put the banner running along the bottom, and I always forget to put the chat box on the stage. Eventually I'll get this streamer thing down. And then I can be like the biggest streamers in the world. But no shock collars. Yeah, no shock collars. I don't need one. DogCatFox is very well behaved. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, as soon as I hit that button, I get a whole bunch of other options. Do I want the comments box tall, wide, or regular? I have options. Which should I do? This is regular. I can have the font size small, medium, or big. This is small. So what combination should I have? So here are your options. It's regular, tall, wide, small, medium, big. So give me a combo of two. Which one should I try? Advocatus says go wide. Advocatus enjoys girth. Wide, small. Okay, wide, small. That's wide, small. That's wide. Oh, I wide, big. Tall, big. Tall, medium. Tall, small. Small, regular. Small, wide. Small, medium. Tall, medium. Tall, small. I think I'll keep tall, at least. Walking tall. Big and wide. Big and wide. I don't know, that takes up a bit too much screen space. I think I like tall. Okay, we'll try tall and big. Try that for a little bit. Seftis, well, shock collars are for people, not animals. I guess it depends on the nature of your relationship. But it's true, yeah, no, shock collars are people, yeah, animals don't want them or need them. People use them. Anyway, I think that's all I had. That's the show. That's the News Digest. Escaping monkeys and equity in schools being bad and mysterious explosions at colleges. Let's see. Last night, if you didn't see it, Undoomed and I had one of our free-flowing live streams of conversation. Mostly, it always kind of turns into a movie discussion or entertainment discussion of one form or another. So if you like listening to two nerds, one with a very, very attractive voice, and then me talking about such things, you got about just almost exactly 3 hours worth. So if you get some background noise or something to keep you company in the car, there you go. Let's see, what else? Monday. There'll be another episode of DEI Death Watch at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I have a whole bunch of stories. And I have to thank Cheryl Daija over at Bridge Organization and the wonderful Bridge newsletter that I get on a regular basis, which gives me a list of all the most important stories surrounding DEI. Saves me a lot of research. And we got stories on Disney. We got stories on businesses dropping DEI more and more. We got DEI and information technology. I won't give away too much, but that'll be on Monday, amongst other things. And yeah, I think that's it. If I had a green screen, I'd have a professional exit to all this, but I don't, so I don't. Let's see, anything else? I hate saying like I haven't planned this, but I haven't. Did you enjoy your first like long-term exposure on camera, DogCatFox?
Wowie wow wow.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Discord server. Do you guys know I have a Discord server? I have a Discord server. Would you like to join the Discord server if you're not already a member of the Discord server? I have to click on the link and look around my microphone because my microphone's in the way. This is totally professional camera streamer stuff, guys. Bobbing and weaving around my microphone. Link to the Discord server is in the chat right now. Click on that link. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you're not a bot, actually watch the stream, and thus earn the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is...
Wowie wow wow.
There you go. Just say hello, wowie wow wow, and I'll know that you watch the show. Outside of that, yeah, find me here Monday for DEI Death Watch. And then, of course, next Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for TED Excellence, where I'll look at another off-brand TED Talk. There may be other things I appear in the course of the week. If I can make Midnight's Edge in the morning, on a particular morning, I will do my best to, but chances are probably not. Oh, time slots. What are you going to do? And, like, work and stuff. But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved. You have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated, either to myself or to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, donation link at the top of the chat box. Thank you guys so much for your generosity. Very much appreciated. Everyone, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Hope you have a good Sunday ahead of you and the weekend overall as well. I hope you're safe and well. And if you're not well, please get well soon. And I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.